All right, I'm just gonna make another video. My hair's a mess. I don't care. I mean, I do, but I'm not gonna worry about it. Haven't shaved or anything. Thank you for all the comments from people who genuinely are trying to help me, trying to explain to me what I'm doing wrong and how this really works. I appreciate all of that. And I am not saying you're wrong. I did disagree with some people. When some people said something and I disagreed, I said why. But in general, I said thank you. I hope I did. I hope I was respectful back to you. I appreciate the sincere comments of people who really are trying to help. I can usually hear genuineness in people's words. I think most of us can do that. But there are good salespeople out there, and they know how to sound genuine even though they're not. And those are the hard ones to see through. I've been fooled many times. We all have. So let me, for those of you who have been trying to give me instructions, and I appreciate that, and I am listening and I am trying things now. I have taken some of what you've said to heart. Let me explain. I'm going to try my best to explain how this all worked. Now I don't have everything in timeline perfect. This all started 6 years ago, 2019. That was the same time, I believe, that I found meditation, the meditation app Insight Timer, and I started using meditation, and I was living in a state of bliss for about a month. I don't remember if Neville Goddard came before or after meditation. I then later discovered Wim Hof. Look him up on YouTube. He's phenomenal. He never gets sick. Never. Doesn't even get a cold. So all of you who have health issues, especially if your health issues are cardiovascular, breathing, practice the Wim Hof method. You'll get healed. My health is better since I practiced the Wim Hof method. I don't practice it nearly as often as I should. So occasionally I still get sick and I still have issues. But Wim Hof is phenomenal. Vice did a documentary on him. It's amazing. The guy's incredible. He's like 66 years old right now, and he's incredible. And I want to train with him. I want to go. I think he lives in the Netherlands, and I want to train with him very much. And hopefully that'll happen one day. All right, so there was meditation, and I found bliss. All of my negative thoughts went away. I listened to a meditation on the Insight Timer app called, first one I listened to had to deal with depression. I forget the guy's name. It was a 12-minute meditation, and it was wonderful. I couldn't listen to it at first. I couldn't do it. I kept getting frustrated. And the person who recommended it to me messaged me, stop complaining, commit to listening to the whole thing. Make the decision you're going to do it. And I did it, and it made a difference. And then I listened to this 20-minute meditation called Negativity Removal. And it was weird, but I listened to it. And the moment after I listened to it, I'm sitting there thinking about everything that I had just listened to. And I noticed, now maybe this is like psychosomatic, maybe this is placebo, that all my negative thoughts were gone. And I found it weird. I'm like, wait, I'm not having any negative thoughts. It's like, did this really work? And it did. It really worked. For 1 month, I listened to it every morning. And I lived in a state of bliss. I went outside and I felt like I was in a movie. Like everything was moving as I'm walking. Everything's just like, I saw life differently. And I was in a state of bliss. And I thought this would never end. It lasted for about 30 days, and I stopped listening to the thing because they said you only have to listen to it for 21 days or something. It says it in the video. Video. So I tried to get it back and couldn't. I went and listened to it again. Nothing worked. Eventually I figured out how to get myself into a good, positive state of mind. And I could spend the day in bliss, but it didn't last. It's never lasted more than 3 days. Usually it would only last for like half a day. And life will seep in. When you're in a positive frame of mind, life inevitably will seep back in, and you will fall back into your same patterns of thinking and habits, and you'll realize you're no longer in that bliss state. But when you're in the bliss state, and that's just how I'm referring to it, as a state of bliss, it feels wonderful. You feel like everything is now going to work, but it never lasts. Jim Carrey talked about this a little bit. He was influenced by Eckhart Tolle, and he said, yeah, it felt really great, and then you kind of lost it. And I was like, yeah. And I knew exactly what Jim was talking about. He'd be a fun guy to talk to. I'd love to hang out with Jim Carrey one day and really pick his brain. But I'd probably annoy him. So, whatever. All right. So I was listening to meditation. I finally stopped listening to meditations. I don't know why. And I tried to go back to it, and the same thing. I was practicing the Wim Hof method. My health was so much better. I felt better. Everything was good. And then somewhere in all of this, I was listening to Neville Goddard. His 19-minute lecture, How to Use Your Imagination to Achieve Your Every Desire. Because God is your imagination. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll consider that. So I did what he said. When Neville said, first you have to know exactly what you want, I went, done. I already know that. Because I had already reasoned out in my mind exactly what I want. But actually, after hearing him say that, I went and wrote it all out. I listened to Joseph Murphy, and I listened to this thing called The Little Red Book on YouTube, and I wrote everything down that I wanted. It's on my computer. And I would read it. I was trying to do the Little Red Book thing where you read it 3 times a day. That didn't even last a week. I was like, whatever. You start doubting that that's really going to do anything. And had I stuck with it, maybe it would have worked. I don't know. I tried robotic affirmations for about a day, and I was like, yeah, that was interesting, but I'm not going to do that every freaking day because it's ridiculous. But I should keep trying it. I tried what Dot said, sit in meditation for 15 minutes in dead silence, no thoughts, empty your mind. Do that 3 times a day. And he said that's how he manifests everything he wants now, because he did that. Just sit silently. Well, I'm listening to Neville, and he imagined sleeping in his home. And he ended up going to Barbados. It happened. He didn't take any actions to make it happen. He literally just slept in his home, in his imagination. And 30 days later, circumstances happened that he had nothing to do with, and he ended up going to Barbados. And I'm like, well, if that works, I might as well try it. What do I have to lose? All I got to do is imagine sleeping in my dream home. I know approximately where I would build it if I had the means to build it. I know exactly what it looks like because I drew it out. I know what's in every room because I went into every room in my mind and saw everything that's in my home. I've lived in this home for the past 6 years, off and on, in my imaginal state. Okay? Understand what I'm saying here, because I know a lot of you are saying I'm doing this wrong. And I know that what I'm doing wrong is doubting, frustrations, not fully believing it. But every night I am laid in bed and imagine myself in my master bedroom in my dream home. It's very easy to do that. I would look up with my eyes closed. Okay, with my eyes closed, I am trying to fall asleep. I looked through my imaginary eyes up at the skylight that's in my bedroom. I looked off to my right. Over there is my walk-in closet, and other things are over there. Off to my left, there's another bed. Then beyond that, there's the laundry. I can describe everything to you. And so in my imaginal state, I sat there my imaginary self looking around at my room, seeing everything in my room as I'm laying in my bed in my apartment, this place right here, this same place that I'm still in 6 years later. But not, and I didn't, yeah, I did it pretty much every night. Maybe not every night, but pretty much every night. But I got frustrated after after a couple of months and nothing started happening. And I started asking questions on the Neville Goddard videos. Why isn't this working? I go to sleep every night and I'm certain that I fell asleep in my imaginal states at least a couple times. And now I've done it probably, if I had to guess, I would guess I've done it at least 6 times, maybe 12, but I don't know. Because you don't really know when you fall asleep, were you still imagining at that moment? If it's the last thing I remember, I assume I did it. If I remember my mind drifting off and starting to think about other things, which happened most of the time, then I was like, yeah, I don't think I did. But I'm sure I did it a few times. But even if I just did it once, Neville says it's done because that locks it in. And there's nothing that can stop it. Because Neville said when in his ladder experiment, you have to commit to that you will not climb a ladder. You have to write Post-it notes and post them everywhere. And you have to mean it. I will not climb a ladder. And of course, your subconscious mind hears, I will climb a ladder. That's supposedly how that works. I will not, and it doesn't hear not, I will not climb a ladder. So I would walk around going, I am not a multi-billionaire. just for fun, I would say things like that. Okay. So I did this. And when I did this, at that time, I wasn't saying this isn't going to work. I didn't say that. I said that later when it didn't work. When I started doing this, I went to bed with a smile on my face, believing, I'm supposed to be looking here, right? I'm supposed to be looking here. Believing that this was going to work. I mean, if my imagination is God, then why wouldn't it work? Oh, you should start with something small. Why? Why? Is it too big for God to do? I fully believe this was going to work because God is my imagination. If God is my imagination. Now, I don't know that God is my imagination. I didn't know that to be true, but I took it on faith that it's true. I said, okay, let's try this. Neville didn't know it was going to work. When he did it, he had no clue what he was doing. He just did what Abdullah said to do. Oh, so just imagine that I'm sleeping in my father's house? Yeah, just do that. Okay, so he did that, not knowing if it would work. He didn't know it would work. I believed this was going to work. I believed it. And I got up and go to work during the day going, okay, this is going to work. Should just relax now because it's just going to happen because I don't have to worry about how it's going to happen. I don't have to try to come up with how to make this happen. I couldn't possibly come up with how to make that happen. I would need to have lots of money so I could build my dream home. And he said, Neville was very clear. Forget about that. He said, don't even think about it. Just focus on what you want and imagine that you already have it. Well, if I'm sleeping in my dream home in my imagination, I must be there. I know approximately its location. So I would literally imagine myself that I was where I wanted to be in proximity to where I currently am, which is the city of Chicago. And I would imagine it about an hour southeast of me. That's approximately where I would live. Why that area? It's where I selected. It could be anywhere. I could go to Norway. I don't have any specific place that I have to live. Right now, I'd like to get out of this country and go live in a country like Norway. The state of this country right now, with the insanity, with the people in charge of this country, I would love to leave this country. And I will if I'm able to, but I'm not able to right now. I have to stay here. But if I'm losing my train of thought. But I decided that this would be a good place to live. I'd be in the country. That's where I want to live. I don't want to live in a city. I want to live in the country on the outskirts of a nice small town so that I could walk to town. I could walk to my grocery store. It's a few blocks away. Or drive. I had the option. I don't have anybody around me. I have neighbors I can see off in the distance, but there's no one next to me. I can't stand our rows of houses that we all live like crowded like rats in a cage. It's ridiculous to me. I want to be out in the open, in nature. There's a lake there. I have a dock on the lake. Okay, I can describe the whole area all around my home. There's a tree stump where I would go sit and meditate in my imagination and look at my home. And I would scan all around in my mind. I can describe the whole area to you. All of it. Front and back. I did this regularly. If my imagination is God, then it should have worked. Oh, but you doubted. You didn't fully believe. Okay, all right. But then why did the ladder experiment work for Neville when he said you have to say you will not climb, you have to commit that you won't do it? You're not believing you're going to climb a ladder. You're saying I won't climb a ladder. And when I did that experiment, I saw ladders, but there were always construction workers around, so I couldn't climb them anyway. And I found myself wanting to climb them, and I kept hoping that I would be able to climb one so that I could prove that it worked. But I'm like, wait a second, that's wrong. I have to say I'm not going to climb those ladders, and something is going to cause me to climb those ladders. Well, it never happened. It never happened. I wanted to climb the ladders, and then I did that for 1 week. You know, you imagine for 3 days, and then during the week it's supposed to happen. It didn't. And then, of course, when I saw that in the experiment, almost no one climbed the ladder and almost no one came back the next week, and the people who came back the next week Neville said to them, I'm going to show you how to get anything you want because you all climbed the ladder. And I'm like, oh, it only works for a few people. It won't work for most people. Well, that probably ended it in my mind because now I know this is probably not going to work. But up until that point, I didn't know that. Up until that point, I was imagining sleeping in my dream home. And to this day, I still do it not vividly every time, but I do. I'd rather sleep in that home than here. I'd rather live there than here. I'd rather that be my life than here. And so in my imagination, it is. Yet 6 years later, nothing's changed. There's all possibilities. It doesn't work. It's all BS. It only works for a very tiny few people. Maybe they're fortunate or their mental capacity is a certain, well, who knows what reasons it is. It only works for a few people. It only works for the people who truly believe it's going to work. Well, I truly believed it was going to work. So it can't just be that because I believed this was going to work. I still believe it's going to work. After 6 years of nothing and throwing up my hands and saying I'm done, now I'm like, you know what? I've already imagined what I want. I know exactly what I want. I've imagined it. Therefore, it's already done. In the quantum field, I have that reality. Of course, in the quantum field, every reality exists. Every possible conceivable reality exists. Supposedly. That's the theory. I've watched the video, the double slit experiment. That was bizarre to watch. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I think it's called the double slit experiment, something like that. I forget exactly. So it either doesn't work, it only works for a few people, or it can work for everyone, but you have to, let go, forget about it, drop it, yet still persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, which is not really euphoria. It's more of a relaxed knowing that it's all done. You're calm. You're relaxed. You're no longer, if you're trying to manifest, like I have to think certain, no, don't do that. Now that's where I'm at now. Stop trying to make it happen with your mind. As Neville said, it will not come about through compulsion. You can't will your dream life to happen by, mental. Okay, that makes sense. If you already had it, you wouldn't try to get it, right? If I already have my dream life, I wouldn't be going, I'm trying to manifest my dream life. I have to. No, no. If you already have it, you're relaxed, you're calm. You're like, yeah, everything's great. Everything's fine because you already have it. So why are you trying to get it if you already have it? Now, I know that you don't have it. We don't have it here, but we do already have it. It does already exist, as I say, in the quantum field. You call it whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. So the only thing I can do now that I've decided is to just relax and not worry about it and let it go. And every night I'll sleep in my imagined state because I like doing that and I believe it's real. And if it's not, and it's all BS, then it will never work. Oh, well, what am I going to do then? There's nothing I can do. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it only works for a few and it never works for me, oh, well, what can I do about that? But if I just simply relax and forget about it and trust that it's all going to work itself out naturally, that seems to be my best option. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm not doing it perfectly. I don't have perfect thoughts. I don't have the perfect attitude. I still get frustrated at things. Life still happens. I'm just trying to live my life and life keeps getting in the way. That's what I've always said. I'm trying to let that go because that is a negative attitude. It's true, but it is negativity. And when I think positively and I've put myself into a good mood, which I can do at any moment. And if anyone's struggling with that, here's one of the secrets. So I'm going to give you a secret now to thinking positively and changing your attitude. You ready? Hold a genuine smile for 5 seconds. God, I sound like a manifesting video now. I couldn't believe it worked. But I read this in my friend's book. He wrote a book, and I'm forgetting what the book is. I should promote his book. Hold on, maybe I can. Yay, I have it here. I have not read this whole book, but this is my friend's book. He doesn't know that I'm showing this. But in this book, he talked about this holding a smile for 5 seconds. He also has a great chapter here on the story of Adam and Eve. I really enjoyed that. He said, he goes, I just read what you said about Adam and Eve because I read this article that said it's not literal. It's all, Adam and Eve represent your conscious and subconscious mind. And when I read it, I thought, oh, that sounds really good. That could be the truth. I could see that being the truth, that it's not about a guy and a girl in a garden. It's your conscious and your subconscious mind. And the one has in subjection to the other. I think so. I think that means that Adam was the conscious mind and Eve was your subconscious mind. So maybe. But anyway, Access the Real You by Brian Kurtz. You can look this up. He talks about holding a smile for 5 seconds. And he was with this person. They were having lunch together and she was all depressed. And he says, he goes, if I can stop you from being depressed right now, you have to buy me lunch. And she went, deal. He said, smile for 5 seconds, not fake. You can't go, you can't do that. Real smile. So she said, okay, 5 seconds. And she did it. And afterwards she went, damn you, or something like that. She was like really mad. She said, fine, I'm buying you lunch. And so I tried it and it worked. And I went, wait, it's that easy? It is. It's not perfect. Okay. I just watched a thing about saying my intention is. Those 3 words, my intention is, and then state what your intention is. And he says, and you'll find that it works. Like my intention is to get a good night's sleep tonight. That actually, I got a better night's sleep tonight. I had sleep terrible. I wake up 5 times in the night. I still woke up, but I slept better. I didn't get a lucid dream. My intention was to have a lucid dream. I've never had a lucid dream. So that didn't work. But I did sleep better. My intention is, and then state what your intention is. But he said, but you have to really mean it and you have to focus on it. Really, like, don't just say it nonchalant. This smile thing for 5 seconds will just trigger something in your brain and you can't be depressed when you're genuinely holding a smile for 5 seconds. And so whenever I wanted to get myself into a good mood and enjoy my day, I had to start by smiling because that would knock me out of my negativity, and then I would feel good, and then I would just simply embrace that feeling and go with that feeling, and then everything, my day just felt phenomenal. I don't know why I don't do this every day, because I just walk around in a state of bliss. Again, I was right back there in that state of bliss, which meditation is what first got me. I think the guy's name was Hickey or something like that. Hickey, H-E, I forget. It's about depression. It's on the app Insight Timer. It's 12 minutes. Negativity removal is 20 minutes. That's a weird one, but it worked. And people criticized it. He doesn't have a high rating for it. Some people liked it. It had like a 4.2 out of 5. Most things have a 4.7, 4.8, 4.9. Negativity removal worked, but now I can't get it to work. Because it's hard. It's 20 minutes long. And it sounded so weird. At one point I was laughing as I'm listening to it. Yet all my negativity left me for 30 days, roughly 30 days. Didn't have a negative thought in my mind. How is that even possible? I can't do that now. But I can get into a positive frame of mind whenever I want. So I ought to do it all the time. I know. But when you're in a negative frame of mind, you're like, screw it. Whatever. I'll do it later. And you start making excuses. And this is the pattern that we're all stuck in. So look, it's really simple. If my imagination is God, if Neville was right, and our imagination is God, then we can have anything we want. All you have to do is imagine having it and then believe that that's real, and it will just happen. It might take a day, it might take a week, a month, it might even take a year. But if that's true, that's the secret to life. Jesus said, believe that you already have it and it shall be yours. If that's true, that's the secret to life. The secret to life is believe that you already have it and it shall be yours. Present tense reality, believe that you already have it, present tense reality, and it shall be yours, that's future tense. It shall be yours. Eckhart tried to say that was present tense. No. The present tense was believe that you already have it. That's the present moment that Eckhart loves to talk about. He loves to talk about the present moment. But Jesus also said future. It shall be yours, not it's yours. So we're waiting for this thing that we want to manifest in our life, and we become frustrated because we want it now. So, God doesn't give you what you want. God gives you what you are. Your vibration creates your reality. Your thoughts create your reality. What you believe to be true creates your reality. Yet Neville did not know that this was going to work. He tried it and it worked. So I said, all I got to do is try it and it will work. And when it didn't, I was devastated. I was angry. I was ticked off. I'm like, what the hell? I wanted to punch him in his face, but I don't punch people. I'm a non-violent person. I've never punched anyone in my life. I may have thrown a punch when I was a kid sometime, got into a fight. I don't know. I'm sure I did. But I don't believe in violence. I hate violence. I abhor violence. But I need to learn how to box. I should learn how to box. I did study martial arts for a while. It was fun. I studied Aikido. Loved Aikido. But you got to learn how to box. You got to learn how to defend yourself. And I don't know how. I suck at it. Anyway, doesn't matter now. That's what I wanted to say. I'm just going to do what I do now. I'm not going to try to make this work, other than I will imagine when I go to sleep at night, because my imagination is God. If my imagination is God, and I'm going to assume that it is, then this will work. I'm the only reason it's not working. I'm assuming that's the case. I'm in my own way. So I have to get out of my way and stop focusing on trying to make it work, because I can't. What did Paul say? By myself I can do nothing. With Christ I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Something to that effect. So I'm just going to let go and to the best of my ability. I don't fully understand what it means to let go, but I'm trying. I have the book Letting Go. I forget the author. I've got that book. I've never read it. Bought it. Don't know why I bought it. Never read it. Maybe I should. But I'm tired of trying to figure this stuff out. So no, I'm not going to read it. I'm not even going to read this. I think it's cool, but maybe he'll see this video. He's a nice guy. I really like this guy. We were good friends for a while. He's living somewhere else now. Good man. So I do recommend it just from the little that I've read of it. All right. Don't think I'm going to post this video. This is too long. 30 frickin' minutes. Okay. I just wanted to come on and tell you what I did and why it didn't work, and and regardless of all of you people telling me I'm doing it wrong, I'm sure I'm doing it wrong. I'm sure I'm doing it wrong. So if what I've said now, that what I'm going to do, if I'm doing something wrong, please tell me. I've read your comments. I've tried to read every single comment I've gotten. I stopped hearting everything because you can't heart everything. I only try to heart certain comments now. So that way it means something. Because if you heart every comment, then it doesn't mean anything. It's not that I don't like your comment if I don't heart it. It just means I'm only going to heart certain comments. That's it. And if I don't respond, I might heart it and not respond. I'm just saying, hey, yeah, I hear you. I might do that and not respond. I'm not going to respond to every comment. I can't. There's no way. No clue why that video is getting so many views and none of my other videos are. I've done several other videos about this stuff, but they've only gotten hundreds of views, not thousands. So, okay. Maybe this one will only get hundreds and not thousands too. That's fine. That's fine. I only came on to address what all of you have been saying in the comments. So I hope you see this video and I hope you can give me some good feedback and tell me, here's what you're still not doing right, or yes, this is good, keep doing that. Whatever it is, positive, negative, tell me what you think I should do now, and I will at least listen to what you have to say. Okay? I'm not going to try to make this happen because I can't. I don't think I can. I will let my imagination create my reality for me and trust that it will in its own time and stop looking. I'm no longer looking. I'm no longer doing that. I simply have I know everything that I want. Everything that I want. It's not just my dream home. There's like many things, and I believe that they are all mine. I believe that the life that I want is mine, and I'm not going to try to create that life through effort because I can't. If I could, I would. I would do it right away. I'd start, and let's just say that if certain things happen, then I will naturally start taking actions because certain things happened. Then I'll know what to do. I know what to do. I can't do it right now. I can't get into the details of that. I can't do what I want to do. I literally cannot do it. It should be obvious to some of you what could be the one thing that's keeping me from building my dream home. What could that be? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's obvious. That's just one thing. There's more. But everything else would naturally fall into place, and I already know the actions I will take when something happens. And I'm not saying one specific thing has to happen. When in general certain things happen, those are the earmarks. Those are the signs that, oh, here we go. And I'm just waiting for anything to happen, however it chooses to happen. I'm not even saying it has to happen this way, and I'm not doing that. I'm saying, however, I've thought about all the possible ways it could happen. And however it works out. And if it never does, then it never does. And I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. which is living my life in my apartment in Chicago with my cats. Here's my old kitty. Yeah. This is Charlie. Charlie is the long-haired cat. The other two are short-haired cats. And Charlie wants down now. Let's see if he's going to want down. Yeah, he wants down. Okay. Talk to you all later. Maybe I'll make another video at some point. I only make videos because I feel like making videos. I decided to come on after reading all the really nice comments that I've been reading, especially the ones lately. But even the ones from like a month ago. Not a month ago. From like a week ago. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.